His ban ended on March 20th, 2026. 5 years away from the octagon, a broken leg, court cases, scandals. And now Conor McGregor is finally free to fight again. But will the fight actually happen? And if so, who is the opponent? This is the question the entire MMA world is asking right now. Today we break down everything, the facts, the rumors, the potential opponents, and an honest prediction. First, what actually happened over these 5 years? 2021, UFC 264, the rematch with Dustin Poirier. McGregor falls to the canvas with a horrific broken leg in round 1. That was his last fight. Everything that followed was turbulence. An Irish court found him liable for sexual assault in 2024. 250,000 euros in damages. 1.5 million in legal costs. His appeal was rejected in full. Then, anti-doping violations. A 8-month ban for missing 3 whereabouts tests in 2024. The ban was backdated to September 2024 and ended March 20th, 2026. He is free. But is he ready? Now let's talk about the comeback. McGregor wanted to be on UFC Freedom 250 on the South Lawn of the White House on June 14th. He said publicly he was in negotiations, that he had a date and an opponent, that he would accept any offer. But Dana White said something different. The deal is not even close to being signed. Ariel Helwani, the most respected journalist in MMA, laid it out clearly. The White House is not happening for McGregor. The more realistic date is International Fight Week on July 11th in Las Vegas. McGregor himself confirmed he met with UFC management and is waiting for a proper offer. His manager personally flew to Las Vegas for negotiations. The fight is getting closer. But when and against who? Still an open question. Now the most interesting part, the potential opponents. Option 1, Charles Oliveira for the BMF title. At UFC 326, Oliveira beat Max Holloway by a 50-45 sweep and became the new BMF champion. McGregor reacted immediately, called the fight shockingly bad, and declared the BMF belt belongs back at welterweight, where Nate Diaz created it. Oliveira responded without ceremony. You want the fight? No problem. At 170, at 185, 2 fights in 1 day, whatever you want. This is a real option. McGregor gets a big name and a belt. Oliveira gets the biggest money fight of his career. Option 2, Max Holloway. Holloway lost the BMF title to Oliveira at UFC 326. But he said publicly if the UFC offered him McGregor, he would take it without thinking twice. They fought in 2013. McGregor won a decision with a torn ACL. A rematch 13 years later, that is a story on its own. Option 3, Nate Diaz. The trilogy. McGregor wants to close the trilogy with Diaz. He said it directly. The score is 1-1. 2 of the loudest fights in UFC history. The third for the BMF belt at 170 pounds. Diaz is not currently signed with the UFC, but negotiations are possible. Option 4, Kamaru Usman. Just days ago, Usman posted on social media, Usman x McGregor 2026. They have never fought, both former champions, both at welterweight. This is a dark horse option, but not one to dismiss entirely. Now the most important question, should we actually believe the fight happens? Let's be honest. McGregor has announced his comeback many times before. Chandler waited an entire year after The Ultimate Fighter. The UFC 303 fight in June 2024 canceled due to a broken toe. Every time, a new reason, a new date, a new promise. But right now, there are several factors that separate this situation from every previous announcement. First, the ban is officially over. There are no legal obstacles anymore. Second, the UFC is motivated. International Fight Week without McGregor means less money. Third, McGregor himself sounds different, not theatrical, pragmatic, ready to fight anyone. And fourth, the most important one, he says he plans 10 more fights and wants to compete until he is 50 years old. That is either the declaration of a man who has genuinely returned, or another story for the press. The prediction. Will the fight happen in 2026? Yes. The chances are higher than at any point in the last 4 years. Who is the opponent? The most realistic option right now is Oliveira or Holloway at International Fight Week in July. Will McGregor win? That depends on one question: which version of him shows up? If he comes in as the 2015 or 2016 version, fast, precise, hungry, he is dangerous for anyone. If he comes in as a man who hasn't fought in 5 years and has lived through the hardest period of his life, the result could be brutal. But here's the truth about McGregor that everyone keeps forgetting. This man knocked out Jose Aldo in 13 seconds. He knocked out Eddie Alvarez for the belt in 2 divisions. At his absolute best, he was the most dangerous knockout artist on the planet. The question is not whether he returns. The question is which Conor McGregor returns. The Irishman has been silent for 5 years. Scandals, court cases, injuries, everything that could break a person. But McGregor has always been theater, always been a show. And the greatest performances happen when the hero comes back after the fall. 2026 could be either his resurrection or the final chapter of the loudest career in UFC history. You want to know what I think? He comes back and he wins the first fight. Because Conor McGregor never walks into the most important moment of his life unprepared. And this moment is the most important of all. Fight Unity. Subscribe to the channel. You can support us on Ko-fi or with crypto link in the description and pinned comment. Every bit of support helps us make more content like this. Thanks for being here.